Food Inc., you know, like Super Size Me, all those things like emphasize like choice, which is like it's weird. Like not everyone has the privilege for choice like that.
Aquí se la pasa uno nomás trabajando para pagar la renta, para pagar el teléfono, si es que tiene teléfono, si no tenemos otros, ¿no? Pero, para pagar la luz. Los botes llegan con la llanta de que aquí le falta un alambre. Por fin llegué. Al cuarto piso. Ay, Dios. Traje pan para la comida, huevo y jamón. Y para la cena.
¿Qué tengo para
O sea, nada más traje para este día, porque pues no alcanza, son 33 pesos.
¿Cuánto?
Y los quiero estirar 33. 33, 50, 33, 57. Ay, me buscando los especiales. Y los especiales son los que traje. De la carne.
¿En especial?
Sí.
¿Cómo?
O sea, mira, cuando le ponen pues está más. Le ponen más abajo el precio. Claro, porque bueno, yo eso creo, no sé, ¿verdad?
¿Qué?
Que yo ya me di cuenta que ellos, como a veces la gente cuando lo ve tan caro, a lo mismo hago yo. Yo lo veo muy caro, no lo compro. Pero ellos saben, o sea, que no me soy la única, hay mucha gente que no lo compran. Y si ellos lo siguen poniendo ese precio, ahí se tarda y ya no se lo van a comprar. Entonces por eso lo ponen en especial. Y así es como sale. Así hacen en todo, así yo me di cuenta. Y yo por eso siempre ando buscando especial. Pero siempre me digo la fecha. porque la fecha tiene mucho que ver, y el color de la carne, y aquí en el huesito, cuando ya se ve verde, pues ya está muy rezagada, pero si no está así, más o menos está aguanta, ¿no? Como es para el día de hoy, no lo voy a almacenar, por eso yo siempre me gusta muy especial. Yo no sé quién comete el error, si las cajeras o que ponen los precios, yo no sé. Y le agarré dos, que aquí dice 2.29, pero cuando pasaron la cajera, pues yo siempre cuando paso ahí, estoy chequeando los precios que están poniendo. Y lo pasó y ahí decía 2.39. Yo le dije, no son 2.29, lo chequeó y ya salió y pues. Pero o sea, hay que estar pendiente, porque si uno va o no, tratando de que alcance el dinero, buscando los especiales, y tratando que alcance, ¿no? 33.57. Es un cálculo que yo llevaba no es para el día de hoy, está para ya mañana a ver qué Dios dice.
¿Por qué yo puedo? ¿Por qué eso? ¡Mira, papá! A comer. No, para el sándwich. No, en casa. No en casa.
¿No hay mayonesa?
Eso.
¿Qué es?
Mira, ve.
¿Qué es? Dime.
Zanahoria.
¿Cómo?
Zanahoria.
Oh, zanahoria. En la estilo.
A ver. Para el gorro.
Las noticias dicen eso, que hay que comer saludable, pero ¿cómo se va a comer saludable si no nos alcanza el dinero? O sea, en primer lugar el salario que a veces pagan no es suficiente. Otras personas, he visto que los pennies, cuando les dan el cambio, lo tiran como si fuera basura, ¿no? Como que no vale. Para mí todo vale. Yo he encontrado así un montoncito y que está regado así como. Digo, la gente no le da importancia, que no tiene, ¿verdad?, mucha importancia el dinero, pero sí se necesita. Pues yo cada penny que encuentro en la calle lo alzo. Mira que yo junto uno de esos y vea como la otra vez junté, mira aquí están. Junté y con eso fui a traer mis tortillas, fui a traer mi fruta y mi jabón. Pero hay que tener calma y estar juntando y luego comprarlos y embolsarlos. Pero dinero. Y cuando hay necesidad es bueno. Cuando no tiene necesidad. Y pues se limpia el apartamento. Nada más una vez a la... antes era una vez a la semana, ahora es una vez cada 2 semanas. A 10 pesos la hora. Nada más que bueno, esas personas pues sí me tienen en consideración. Con eso de que yo tuve el accidente de que me rompí la cuerda y pues me vieron que aún así yo iba, aunque sea con las muletas. No iba yo a limpiar, pero llevaba yo una de mis hijas a que lo hiciera, le iba diciendo cómo hacerlo. O sea, ellos vieron que yo no los dejé y que yo aún así iba. Entonces, por eso yo creo que ellos me tienen... se dan cuenta de que yo hago mi esfuerzo como sea, ¿no? Y pues yo tampoco los quiero dejar, y ellos tampoco, ellos me tienen calma, porque yo creo que si fueran otras personas, pues, porque ahora ya me hago más horas, por lo mismo, que me duele la mano, me duelen las rodillas.
¿Qué tiene en la mano?
Pues el síndrome del túnel carpiano, o sea, está hinchada la muñeca, y pues como está hinchada, y aquí es donde llegan todos los nervios, como está inflamada, que no deja pasar la sangre, y es por eso que se me entuma. Y pues ya tardé así, y pues ellos lo saben y me tienen calma, ¿no? A veces uno no quiere comprar eso, y pues la comida que no quiero decir nombres, ¿no? Pero eso de las comidas rápidas es lo que siempre sacan en la tele, es lo que más sale en los comerciales, anuncian que cualquier cosa, y los niños es lo que les llama la atención. Pues a ellos les llama la atención, a veces no es tanto por la comida, pero sí, ya estando ahí, pues tienen que comprar la comida para que le vendan lo que quieren los niños, que no nos damos cuenta de eso, que ellos la anuncian pues para vender su comida. Entonces uno no puede luchar contra el mundo, o sea, el mundo es la televisión. Lo que nos apoya el gobierno no es suficiente. Eso que están usando el dinero para las guerras y todo eso, mejor lo deben de usar para poner así lugares donde pueden ir a comprar saludable. Sería mejor. No hay lugares donde vendan la comida esa saludable, porque la verdad yo sé que toda esta comida no es saludable de por sí. Uno la compra uno por necesidad y porque pues tiene uno que comer. La comida mejor de México es la recién salida del campo. De recién salido de que lo cortábamos a la mesa, ¿no? Entonces
Between 79 and 81, I don't remember the exact year, but there was a fire and they were all burnt out. So of course the land became a dump, the neighborhood dump.
Before, in the early 70s, they used to have a lot of action in here with the drugs and everything else. And that's why we get to take over this garden and clean up all of that. Nobody drugs come in here now.
I used to be here when it was terrible. It was when I'm talking about 15, 16 years ago. When I was a kid, I used to hang out here. All of this was mostly cars, broken buildings, and we used to cut class here. We used to actually do graffiti under the bridge that used to be here. Now, as I grew up and been through my trials and tribulations, this is a treasure. This is beauty. You can see life here. And that's basically what this place is about, life, man. And changing people, changing the community. It changed me.
In our first community garden meeting of the season, we did an activity that was very participatory. I said, close your eyes, pretend you're pushing the heavy gate open to the garden, and I want you to talk about what it means as soon as you step inside the garden. What do you feel? And they then wrote down on these beautiful colored pieces of paper what the garden means to all of us and why we should keep it so sacred and special and preserve it. So it's a reminder for the people who were part of that meeting and for people who weren't part of that meeting who want to learn more about how to participate and why this place is so special.
Allá donde me crié, yo iba a juntar esa hierbita de que está ahí chica. La fui conociendo por eso. Está bien sabroso ahí con una salsa de jitomate o de tomate.
You're watching Depth of View on the Youth Channel, a show that features young filmmakers and goes behind the scenes of their productions.
I went to Detroit in 2010 with Global Action Project. It was for the social forum, and it was amazing. And one of the things that one of the connections I made at the social forum was with community gardens and the idea, because I visited a community garden there when I was there, and it just gave me so much ideas to see when people, how people when your city is completely ignored even by the government, and then it's a pretty decrepit place, Detroit, because of the, like the auto industry, but people just got together and started like figuring out ways to like survive in this crazy place. And the gardens was like a really unifying thing. And that, so I that like stayed with me. And I also met like Owen, who happened to work with community gardens here in New York City. So then I already loved film and filmmaking or documentary. And then I had this new, like, really, this passion. It became like a passion for working in, or just the idea of having like, or being able to grow your food in like this city place, in this place where you barely see any grass. Around that same time, when I was at Global Action Project, and I was like coming out because I have to program, and then one of the computer screens, I don't even know why, even like it wasn't like it was being nosy. Like it was just like one of the like computer screens had like this web page open, and it had like, all I saw was the word Project Voicescape, youth documentary filmmaker, or something like that. It was like 3 words that just stuck out to me, and I was like, oh, that kind of relates to like what I want to do. And I didn't like really like whatever. I just kind of, I went home, I looked it up, and it turned out like it could be like a really cool like opportunity, because I read, I was like, oh, it's like a mentorship program, and they have like a grant as well. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna apply, and I did, and then it turns out like I guess they liked my idea.
I read an article the other day just about media consolidation and how like 6 corporations own basically 90% of all the media outlets.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but you really gotta think about is that when the only message they really showing to us, for young people, is all the violence that we do.
So basically we probably can't watch the news or just TV shows because of like message placement and the ideologies that a lot of these corporations convey in these TV shows or even in the news. Yeah, it's nothing positive.
Hey, you guys.
What's good, bro?
Hey. What y'all was talking about?
Media consolidation, negative portrayal of youth on TV.
Oh, y'all, did y'all ever hear about the youth channel?
What's that? What's the youth channel?
It's media made by the youth for the youth. You know what I'm saying? It's a public thing.
Public
it's
access?
Like yeah. And they got a center somewhere over here.
Oh yeah, it's around the corner. 175 East 104th Street, the MNN studio.
MNN?
Right here on Lexington and 3rd.
Oh, that new building they just built in between the blocks? The
yeah.
Firehouse?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's where it's
okay.
at. Yeah.
Cool, alright, cool.
Okay, please stop.
I think this was like a week before the deadline. I was like, again, really anxious, not, you know, I was, and I told my mom about it and like what I hoped to do with the documentary, and then I was just like, oh, I'm so frustrated, and then she was like, and I guess she didn't say anything when I told her that day, but we did have like a conversation about like what I thought was important about like what people needed to know, and then the next morning, like when I wake up, like my mom, like she usually like she rings the, you know, she went shopping and stuff, and then like she calls and she's like, come downstairs, oh, and bring your camera. And I'm like, okay. And that's like one of like the sequences in the documentary is like of my mom going up the stairs. Like I felt like that image in itself like described so much of not just like my mom's experience, but like a lot of the experiences, like the labor it takes to bring food to the table. I used to live in the Bronx. I'm now living in Brooklyn. But I used to live on Allerton. It's like around the area where like the botanical garden is. There wasn't like a natural / organic food store, but I had to like take the train to get to it. Whereas the supermarket, like, you know, like Fine Fare or what's the other one? Like Seatown, all those places and stuff. Like just the grocery, like it's, you know, I could just walk there. So not only is like it's just more convenient, you know?
This was kind of like really spontaneous. Like most of the content was spontaneous, and it wasn't like done in like a very like rigid, this is what I want to say here and this is what I want to say there, there. I think it happened in like, this is kind of what I feel that needs to go here, and it clicks, and like, and it's kind of, and it's truthful to me. I had an idea of like how to edit, but only like with like fiction and narrative, where every shot is sort of like planned out, so you know like where the sequence, how the sequence is gonna look before you even touch anything. Whereas a documentary, you can only hope to have an idea while you're shooting it, but most of the time you're just trying to like make sure you get as much information as you can in a frame. So when I uploaded like, it was like about 2 hours of material, I had no clue where to begin. So when you reflect like that on the things that you do, on the things that you capture with the video camera, you allow for reflection about what you value, and it's also like, in a way, you get to know more about yourself and like what are the things that you want to portray because you value it. So that was tough because I've never done it, but I'm glad I did. I feel like impact is a lot about like being concise, and there's some things that when I see the piece that it's like on YouTube now, that I'd be like, that seems kind of redundant. So I wish I think looking back and still looking at it today, I think I would make more cuts. Definitely when my mom offered to be in front of the camera, for two reasons. Like, it's just like as a way to support like kind of like what I wanted to do, and then also I guess I don't know, I'm talking of like her, but it's like our story. Like my story is really, it kind of like emphasizes all the like issues that I wanted to bring into like this documentary. Everything, like from socioeconomic to health. I was gonna talk about like something that I know, like, and the only thing I know best is my own experience. So that was my approach. So really, I just kind of like followed my mom, and then she really was the one who made it work, because she opened up in front of the camera in a way that if I had asked her questions, I probably wouldn't have gotten to. So yeah, that's the approach. That's how, when I was recording, that was the intention.